New information has come to light on the McCarrick scandal. Monsignor Anthony Figueredo has released a letter regarding his interactions with McCarrick as his secretary for 1 year, and he also booked international trips for McCarrick. I'm going to call him Monsignor Anthony so I don't butcher his last name anymore. The letter will be posted down below so you can read it in its entirety. I'm going to pick out a few things that I'd like to highlight. So Monsignor Anthony has mentioned in this letter that he apologizes, he regrets the harms that have been caused by his cover-up because he was one of the people that covered up the abuses of the minors and seminarians. He became an alcoholic because of that, because I guess he realized, what he was doing and couldn't handle it very well, so he turned to alcohol. Well, good news, since then he has become sober, and that's a good thing for him. And now he's writing this letter as part of the closure for this very negative experience that he has had. So Cardinal Wuerl is mentioned quite frequently here. No surprise, accusations of Wuerl were made, but over and over it has been proven that he lied to the media and he was definitely complicit in cover-up. Also, McCarrick's travel did not include just to Rome and China. Now, China is interesting because there is recently the Vatican-Chinese deal, and in this letter, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, he has a high position in the Vatican. He worked with McCarrick extensively on the Vatican-China deal. I posted a video on it earlier, but now new information has come to light on it. In addition to China, McCarrick worked with a lot of countries. He visited a lot of countries in the Middle East, including Iraq, Iran, and Morocco, which was recently visited by Pope Francis. And just looking at the bad Chinese deal, I'm wondering what was going on in some of those Middle Eastern countries that have a predominant Muslim population. The Pope recently signed a statement with a Muslim leader saying that God wills all religions. God actively wills all religions, like he intends for there to be diversity of religions and that they could all go to heaven. So a lot of these visits to these obscure countries, like the predominantly Muslim countries, the way was paved by McCarrick, or at least it now appears to be that way. In one of the emails published, McCarrick says, "Holy Father, forgive me for giving you all this information about his trips, but I always feel better if I know that you are aware of what I am trying to do." I'll let you decide for yourself what that means. In another email, McCarrick said, "My visit to Rome was so very helpful, and it looks as if two projects, China and Islam, continue to move forward slowly. To try to monitor them a bit, I think it would be useful for me to come to the Papal Foundation board meeting." Now, the Papal Foundation is a charity. I may look into their financial statements and their grants in the future as a future video, but McCarrick definitely had strong ties with the Papal Foundation charity. So now here in the same email is where the name Cardinal Turkson comes up. Cardinal Peter Turkson of Africa is a cardinal that's been tied closely to Francis. His name comes into the picture. There are other archbishops and I think a few more cardinals who have their names listed here, but Turkson comes up a few times. A lot of people say, oh, well, it would be great to have an African cardinal as the pope. Like, hopefully an African cardinal as the next pope. Well, that's the cardinal you're going to get. Cardinal Turkson was heavily involved in this China deal, it looks like. Thank goodness, praise God for Monsignor Anthony for writing this letter. I'm sure it was really difficult for him to do because it appears that the corruption network tries to shut down anyone who tries to speak out. This is awesome. I'm really excited about this because it comes just a few weeks before the USCCB meeting. I hope that some of the other bishops step up, and if they don't reference this guy specifically, I hope they at least are inspired by his testimony of stepping forward and being a whistleblower for the good of the church. Monsignor Anthony seems to suggest that more people may step forward after his testimony, and this is great. I think it's just going to be a domino effect, so stay tuned, read the letter, and there's going to be more things to come.